Dear friends and gymnastics family, welcome to this FIG webinar about acrobatic gymnastics. Today, we will see with our own eyes and try to understand why acro is much more than just a sport. With me is Revas Gurgenitze, coach from Russia. Welcome, Revas. And to those connected with acro sports and acrobatic gymnastics, he probably needs no introduction. But to those unfamiliar with the recent history of our sport, let me just explain that it's not often that we have the privilege to have here with us um, someone who was 7 times senior world champion. Revas was also a World Games winner. And to those who don't know what the World Games are, it's to acrobats, it's our Olympic Games since acrobatic gymnastics is not yet an Olympic sport. Revas was also an artist in the world prestige Cirque du Soleil, and he is an international judge. One of the things that most amazes me in his life and his curriculum is that he is the third generation coach. He comes from a long line of acro coaches, and I'll have to wait a lot to accomplish that and rely on the good faith of my daughters. Most recently, he is also the creator of a series of great educational videos that have been helping many people during the past year. Welcome, Revas. It is a privilege to have you here with us today.
Thank you, Lourenço, for this introduction, and let me please introduce you. Physical education teacher with a master in biomechanics and gymnastics, Portugal national coach since 1999, with medals in European championships and world's and European age group competitions. FIG Academy teacher for a decade, coach in training camps and educational acro events in all 5 continents, international judge for 2 cycles and the national judge for 25 years, a record in his own country. Head coach in Acro Club de Maya and one of organizers of one of the most amazing events in Acro, the Mayo Acro Cup. And in love with gymnastics since he can remember himself. Most important information about this person is he's the father of the 2 amazing girls.
So thank you. And with no further delay, let's go to the first presentation of these 2 presentations in this webinar. Revas, you have the floor. You can start.
Thank you, Lourenço. So I will start. Thank you.
So, dear colleagues, this is my presentation. Acro, more than just a sport. In my part of presentation, I prefer to speak a little bit about history, usability, and popularity of acro.
But first of all, what is acro? Acro is a competitive sport, partner performance by 2, 3, or 4 gymnasts in 5 different categories: men's pair, women's pair, mixed pair, women's group, and men's group. Built on cooperation and trust, excellent discipline for transference of skills learned in other disciplines and vice versa. By specific of the acro, we need everyone: tall, short, muscular, lean, youth, adolescent, and adults. Acrobatic gymnastics is developed in different continents like Europe, Asia, North America, South America, Australia, and Africa. Competition program is regulated by competition rules for all disciplines and specific acrobatic rules. Gymnast performs 3 different exercises: balance, dynamic, and combined. All exercises choreographed to music, and artistry goes beside the highest level of tricks, what makes acro super spectacular. Let me show you some clip from the last World Championship.
So, dear colleagues, I prefer to divide my part of the presentation to three different topics. I want to highlight the history of acrobatic gymnastics. I want to speak a little bit about acro-based sports and about acro on TV and social media. As you can see, at the present moment, acro is just amazing, spectacular sport. But where it all begins. The word acrobat comes from the Greek acrobates, which means walking on tiptoe, climbing up. Acrobatics is a type of the physical exercises originated in ancient times. Images on preserved monuments and frescoes indicate that this sport was known in ancient Egypt. Acrobatic exercises were also practiced in ancient Greece and China. In Crete, along with the theatrical processions associated with the various ceremonies, the games with bulls were held, an integral part of which was acrobatic exercises. In some of the African countries, the warriors were selected for their acrobatic skills. They had to turn over in the air, turn the somersaults. Malakam. The earliest literally known mention of Malakam is the beginning of the 12th century Sanskrit classic Manasolasa. A painting from the 17th century shows athletes performing various acrobatics, including the pole climbing while dancing. Castellas, or human castles, are towers made of people, traditionally erected during the festivals in Catalonia. Teams of castellers compete in the construction of the highest and most complex castles. The tradition originates in the region of Tarragona and is especially common in the south of Catalonia. On the territory of ancient Russia, acrobatics was highly liked and obligatory part of the various entertainment shows. Ancient Russian buffoons were dancers, magicians, jugglers, and acrobats. At first, they performed alone, and then joined together in pairs, trios, and groups. Over the time, the athletes were divided into two groups. One was engaged in professional circus acrobatics, and the other ones, sports and amateurs. There are several types of professional circus acrobatics: power, shoulder, jumping, and horse acrobatics. Circus acrobatic hasn't lost its popularity even now. Many elements have become the basis of the sports acrobatics. Acrobatic as a competitive discipline emerged from Soviet Union, where the first competition rules were created. The Soviet National Championship took place for the first time in 1939. The first international tournament in what was called sports acrobatics took place in Warsaw in 1957, with the four Eastern Bloc teams competing: Bulgaria, the German Democratic Republic, Poland, and the Soviet Union. The International Federation of Sports Acrobatics, IFSA, was established on 23rd November of 1973. The first World Championships were held the following year in Moscow. In 1998, the International Federation of Sports Acrobatics was dissolved, and the discipline was adopted by the International Gymnastics Federation, and the first World Championship of the FIG era took place in Ghent, Belgium, in 1999. Now, our discipline is known as acrobatic gymnastics. Acrobatic gymnastics came from natural activities, but we may say that all active sports are associated with the acrobatics. Everywhere athletes need to control their body as much as possible. All athletes, from football player to tennis players, should be able to fall without hurting themselves, be able to coordinate their body in a difficult game situation. Let me read you just a few quotes about Acro. I'm against doing early sparring before the age of 16. After this age, I recommend acrobatics. The ability to land with a round-off, wheel, salto is an excellent prevention of injuries. Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, the father of Khabib and coach. I don't know if I can answer the young kids how to become an astronaut. How to start? I advise you to start with the acrobatics. It develops coordination, strength, and courage. Vladislav Volkov. From the moment of integration acrobatics into the FIG family with creation of the artistry score, our sport became more and more attractive for the media and spectators. That's why the videos and clips with the acrobatics achieves the million views on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and other platforms. Here you can see the most viewed acrobatics clips on different platforms. On the right side you can see the clip of my mixed pair, which achieved more than 1 million views, and on the left side you can see the video from the finals of the women's groups from 2012 World Championship from Lake Buena Vista. More than 40 million views. I think it's most viewed gymnastic video ever. Acrobatics is a very beautiful type of physical activity. The ease of movements of the acrobats fascinates and delights. Many famous brands love to use the acrobats in promo and commercial of their products. Acrobatic gymnastics is an amazing, attractive, understandable, and spectacular discipline with long history and very interesting competition format. Started from natural activities, acrobatics is a powerful basis for any other sport. Possibility to train for the people of any body types helps to develop this wonderful sport worldwide. Specific of the acrobatics make it very popular and desirable for TV and social media projects. So, in scope, we may say that Acro is much more than just a sport. Thank you for watching, and I hope you also enjoyed this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Revas. Thank you for this wonderful presentation. It was great to see all the history and all the places and people that Acro touched and is involved with. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lourenço, and I will not be too long, and I will give you the floor to discover more for our spectators about our amazing sport.
Why do we say Acro is so much more than just a sport? These 4 simple letters that mean friendship, trust, respect, and companionship. These letters that imply hard work, extreme amounts of hours of practice, and really complex coordination skills between partners, between human beings. And that is why, in my opinion, it is the ultimate sport. The great John Wooden, for many the greatest coach that ever lived, coined a definition of success that is as beautiful as simple. He stated that success should imply the peace of mind we feel when we give our best. Because truthfully, no one can give more than his best. And this is so simple, but so powerful, isn't it? And that's the reason for these videos. The hugs and the kisses, they happen on the floor. They happen right after the routine, before the kiss and cry, not after the score. They happen before all that, for all the effort and that resulted in success. And that's why we change the kiss and cry to did our best area. And that is why we think that success must be in every step of the way. And this is what we're going to try to develop in this presentation, because we think success must be the measure of our effort. Acro is probably the epitome of this quote. As a coach, I realized that it's in our hands to provide our gymnasts the tools for success, for individual and team success. And how do you reach it? Well, if you remember that is a measure of our effort, it's rather easy. You start simple, you start with enthusiasm, with joy, with happiness, with smiles. And then you had the hard work, you had determination. And that's everything you want to put in on the sport, on everyday practice. And then you cook everything with love. And maybe success means a lot of things, but to me it means a huge degree of autonomy. Like with our children, our goals as parents is that eventually they live their life, they have a family of their own. As a coach, I think our job is to give them the tools to find their way, to guide them while they need, and then let them find the way that suits them most. Provide them the wings and the teaching, and then let them fly. Wonderful things will happen, creativity will happen and will rise. One of the most interesting features in our sport is that we don't have a specific morphotype. To have success, many sports, they need specific body shapes. In acro, we need them all. We need the tall, we need the short, we need the slim, we need the bulky, and then we need everything in the middle. You know, it's talking about an inclusive sport, it's this one. And this is such a rich and out-of-the-box thing that we can choose what's best skill for each gymnast, for each body, for each partnership, for each physical and even psychological profile. We have no boundaries except the ones that guide our safeguard issues that are imprinted in the code of points. And with that, despite the shapes, the sizes, the ages, they can make themselves champions, even when their bodies aren't suitable in other gymnastics. And that is a unique feature we have in acro, and it's the first one I'm going to highlight here today. And this is an amazing example. It's probably the only picture I have in all the presentation, and it's the men pair podium in the last World Championship. Igor Mishev, the top from the Russia men pair, same height as Charlie Tate, the base from the British men pair. How wonderful is this? You know, it's such an amazing thing we have in acro. But how do we get here? How do we get to the champions? How do we achieve the highest level? Well, again, 3 ingredients. Enthusiasm is the first. This is the first one. It's the joy that will drive us, that motivate and inspire those around us. If you imagine we are cooking, this will be the pan, you know, the recipient where we are going to prepare our dish. Then comes determination, meaning to do what is needed to do. Determination to work hard. This is the actual food, you know, it's the raw food, uncooked. It represents the hard work, the hours of training, all the effort that we are willing to put in the sport, day after day, hour after hour. And then, and only then, it will come the final ingredient. Again, it's, if you think as a dish, it will be the oven, okay? Where we will heat everything. And that ingredient, that final ingredient, is love. And you know, without love, everything is hard, and with love, anything becomes possible. It's where we are going to prepare our meal. It will heat everything. And like these three little girls carrying this mat. If you have all the three ingredients, you are set to success. If you lack one of it, you'll go for a while, but you'll not endure. You may be good, but you'll never be at your best, because these three ingredients, they work together, each rising in specific moments of the gymnast career. Like in life, these ingredients grow in us, and they grow with us, you know, they mature with us. And that is why some of the next videos you'll see are some first steps in acro of some gymnasts, and they're blossomed through time. Small videos that show they're growing from the just having fun and enthusiasm to love, with a lot of determination. Meanwhile, means hard work. Like this boy here, this front angel is exactly the same boy here many years later. Or this bass doing the toe pitch, same competition many years later, same bass. And why do I decide to show these videos? You know, because you can't tell the exact moment, the specific moment you fell in love with someone. It's a process. It's not instantaneous. Love will grow on us, you know, and that's why we try to ignite the sparkle every training. You see, well, this shot I show you now from this small clip of choreo of this man pair is how wonderful it is to pass the love. And I realized that we have a small man pair at the gym doing the exact same choreo line from the beginning. And I needed to record it because it is so nice to see this, that more than 10 years later, you know, the things are passing generation through generation. Well, not yet perfect, but one day it will be amazing, you know? And as I say, love will grow based on the little things that happen, based on the small leaps of successful moments or actions. And one day you look at yourself and everything has changed. You can't live without that person. You can't live without that sport. And I often give the same example. My sister, she was a pianist, good one. I play the piano. There's a big difference here. On the other hand, she did gymnastics and I'm a gymnast. There's a big difference. You need the three ingredients all together. And love may not be the first, it will not be, but it's the last to appear. Rest assured, it may be forever. And we have that power to ignite, to show the path, to ignite the sparkle on our gymnasts. And you know, these young kids, just kids having, you know, playing gymnastics, learning the basics. We ignite the sparkle every day, we show them the way, we lift the ladder to them, and we adapt everything to their level, to their own level, so we can provide them the success they need. It's just a measure of our effort. And sometimes you may think, well, with all of this, there's no failure. Well, there is failure. They need to fail. It's the most important part of the process, because we will fail in life, like in sports. Everyone fails, it's normal. It's dealing with the failure at everyday basis and coping with it that will make them grow. These lads here had a huge setback in front of their own crowd. And you know, it's a short story. The Worlds were just 40 days ahead, and they overcome, they endure, they fight back. Enthusiasm, determination, meaning a lot of routines, and love. And you know, when you see this routine, this final routine in the World Championship, and you realize that all the joy, all these hugs, you know, they happened before the score, happened before they even knew what place they were. They were a consequence of peace of mind, the one that leads to success. But you know, this has nothing to do with failure. This has to do with enthusiasm and little bursts of success. Like this young top that flourish if she endures and becomes a base. And here she is now. And that is the magic of acro. We adapt their development to their own rhythm, and they will grow. Eventually they will grow. And here she is again doing the same slide to split with another layer of complexity many years later. Let us be there for them, helping them in that transition. like this young top, you know, let us be there to see them increase the complexity of their skills. And here she is again, now as a base in their first competition. There are no ground rules. They don't need to do giants on the high bar or any special throw off the ribbon. You know, as far as they perform with flawless technique, sky is the limit. Here she is again, same base, same slide to split, like this top, you know, apparently same element with another layer of complexity. And that's one amazing feature in Acro. We are not limited by apparatus of any kind. We perform exclusively with the interaction of our bodies. That is something rather unique. You know, there are kids more flexible than others. And although we can and we should improve their flexibility, we know they will not perform some elements naturally. And we train with them, but there are kids more natural on flexibility than others, but we will teach them, you know, to use their body types, their characteristics in their favor, their limb proportions, their fast, slow twitch fiber ratio, their morphology. We will guide them to manage success. And that is something rather unique in our sport. We can adapt to each body characteristic. We are not skill specific, you know. And as one of the great things that present this with Revas is that you see this boy here doing the tumbling, you know, and it's the same boy here now as a teenager. Probably you recognize him now for the choreo. Yeah, it's Revas. And you know, having fun in the first video, enthusiasm, having fun, as he wrote to me when he sent it, a bit more serious now in this routine with Anna. But you think, how did he manage such a long and beautiful career? Enthusiasm, determination, and love. Is love all we need? I think after a certain moment in sport, yes, love becomes everything. But it starts with enthusiasm, joy, happiness, smiles in little kids' faces, even behind the masks. You know, how you get that? Well, little achievements, the best coaching we can give them, and trust. Acro is the ultimate sport that provides all of that. We cannot replace a teammate during a competition, and that is one of the hardest things we have. It is so much skill specific that, you know, according to our own characteristics, is actually one of the most difficult things we have. We depend and rely on each other like we depend on ourselves, and that is why it's so much difficult, for example, to assemble and work a men for. Their work is so special that it takes insurmountable amounts of time to consolidate all the learning, all the fine-tuning, all the small coordination, the timings, the details that combine the strength of 4 men or 4 boys. And that is why it's also so beautiful. You know, just remember the video from Revas, that amazing men 4 final from last World Championships in Antwerp. And it's always like that. It's a show. Not just there, you know, you see Acro having, you know, giving a show, giving a spectacle in most of the major human shows around the planet, Cirque du Soleil and so many others, like popular TV shows like Got Talent. There is Acro amongst finalists, there's Acro amongst winners, because people understand what they see. They don't need complex rules, they don't need no one to tell them what they are doing. They vote, they spend money because they like what they see. And we acrobats, we know how to put a show, you know? So you realize that in the end of this string, of this long string, with enthusiasm to endure in difficult days, with determination to keep on thriving, you will find love. And to sum up some of the amazing facts of this sport, it is the ultimate sport because it combines like no other the best of individual and team sports. It's inclusive. We want all human beings, no matter the size of proportions. It's performed with interaction with other people, no apparatus need, depend on the skill set and characteristics of each other. We have more than 10,000 elements, that's something of variety in the sport. And it's based in trust and faith, trust in each other, faith in my fellow companion. And it's the ultimate spectacle in terms of human performance. We can delight audience of all ages around the world. Acro, although, is not yet an Olympic sport. But these are some of Acro's unique features. It's not better or worse than any other sport. It's just different. It's how I see it. It's gymnastics, no question about it, and it's so much more than that. And that is why, Olympic or not, I just love it.
Thank you, Lourenço. It was an amazing presentation. It was very interesting, but it's amazing to see in these videos the joy and happiness of your kids doing the acrobatic gymnastics. But from my part as a coach or as a gymnast, I imagine that it's not always joyful or always happy, yeah? Isn't it?
Yeah, gymnastics is my life because gymnastics is life, and life ain't always happiness and joyful moments, and so is gymnastics. But like in life, things just happen. They happen. They don't happen to us. They happen. How you see them is what makes the difference. And our main goal is to take things as they are, change what we can, and improve for the future and cope with the ones we cannot. Taking the positive in everything we got. And well, I'll give you this example. I have the privilege to work with some amazing coach at my gym. In our team, three were my gymnasts, and one was my student in two FIG academies, and they are the best. Uh, Two of them are doctors in the hospital, and one she's a lawyer. The two doctors, João and Ursula, they have to deal with human suffering on a daily basis. And Stephanie, the lawyer, she has to cope with divorces and pawns and huge dramas that people face. It is great to have them every day, stripping their regular clothes and putting that Superman and Wonder Woman clothes, getting ready for that bit of brightness and satisfaction we receive in training young kids and young adults, despite the tiredness, of a full work day and all the things and situations that normally happen and that we as coaches have to deal with. But me and Nelson, which is an amazing Brazilian coach and also a former acrobat, we are teachers. More than coaches, we are teachers. We have, since we get up until we go to sleep, the best job in the world. Every single day we can help people, young people, getting better people, getting better at the sport they choose to do. And that is something beautiful to see those shining eyes when a young kid can perform a skill for the first time. That small smile of success. And Acro can provide that in every step of the way. Sometimes there are trainings that are not so good, as there are days that in our life they are not so good. But when you realize you can provide that success in every step of the way, in every drill you choose for them, you understand that all that effort can lead to success, and that is priceless.
I just feel like it's my personal feelings as well. For the person who's working with the kids, and we spend with the kids most part of our life, and it's very amazing to see the similar things and about the life at all, and about Acro, about living in the gym, what it means. So thanks.
Revas, I can't let you go without asking you one question, which I think it can make a huge importance in this webinar. After your presentation, what do you think it is the impact of acro in other sports and other disciplines?
Thanks, Lourenço. But my personal feeling that the acro is everywhere, and if the sum of sport discipline, which now broadcasting on the TV, on social media, or if they want to bring more spectators to their competitions, they include more and more acro in their personal disciplines, like artistic or synchronizing swimming or acrobatic rock and roll. And even they understand that their disciplines became more and more spectacular just because they include the acro. And sometimes I'm helping to the acrobatic rock and roll, and it's not like salto to the floor, it's like triple twists or like double Arabians and things like that. And it's with their own specific, but they need the acro specialists. And I never told about it, but my brother, he was a acrobatic coach of the synchronized swimming team, preparing there for the Olympic in London. So the non-Olympic disciplines acrobatics helps to the Olympic disciplines to look better. So I think we should be in Olympic. We're already well prepared. We have a lot of countries, and we have the very interesting competition format. And I think we'll have the huge support from the TV broadcasting and different media. And I think we're ready. And it's like maybe a little bit personal, but what is the power of acro for you? And I know that you start as an artistic gymnast and coach. What bring you to acrobatic? Why did you change the sport?
Yes, well, indeed, I've done artistic gymnastics all my youth. Then I became artistic coach, Meg and Wag, trampoline coach, and then acro coach. Don't I don't know if it was acro that chose me or I choose acro, but I, in my understanding, after almost a quarter of a century coaching, is one of the most complete sports of all. First it's gymnastics. You train strength, flexibility, coordination, even some endurance. But second, acro goes drinking from the best part of what I call the beautiful sports. It has the skills from artistic, the flying and the aerial movements from trampoline, the dance, the music, the choreography from rhythmic, and the beauty and the human connection from ice skating. But to me, far more important, acro is the most team of all individual sports and is the most individual of the team sports. We need our partners. We need them, and they are irreplaceable. I normally say that we need 4, 6, or 8 hands to do acro, and this means we need each other. We need to trust in our partners like in nobody else. We need to rely on them. We become friends, partners, companions, and this is all in one sport. And that is why it's so amazing. How it's not Olympic, well, something that it keeps dazzling me, but one day I am sure.
Thank you, Lourenço. It's full and amazing answer. Just I think it explains why acro is more than just a sport.
Thank you so much to all our viewers, to all the gymnastics family that was watching us. Thank you, FIG. Thank you to Acro Technical Committee for this invitation. Thank you, Revas, once more. It was an honor and a true pleasure to be here. I hope you liked this webinar as much as we loved making it. Well, stay safe, keep training, keep coaching. I hope we see each other really soon in person. And until then, all the best to you all.